Oh, hello, future Joshua.
Tasker says hello.
Yes, he does.
Because he loves you.
So Daddy and I are going to, and hello, current Joshua. Daddy and I are going to tell you the story of your birth because we want to record as much as we can remember. And right now you're exactly 3 months old. It's New Year's Eve. It's going to be 2019 in a few hours. So it's December 31st, 2018. And you are almost exactly 3 months old. And we want to tell you as much as we can remember about your birth story before we forget. So it was mommy had been working for about a month back with her new class. And I thought you were coming in another month.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I had a few errands to do. I had to make sure that my car was okay. It had a check engine light on. I was really relieved. It was after work. I was at the car shop and they said the car was fine. It was just needed an oil change. Hey. And then I even got my debit card pin sorted out, which was, ooh, you just spit up. Which was, you just spit up a lot. Which I had been worried about and stuck on, and I was feeling really good. And I texted Daddy and I was like, yay, everything's good. I'm headed to our doctor's appointment. It was just a checkup. And you saw the text message and said, okay.
Okay.
And then
I
also
normally don't check my text messages during practice, but I felt it was important because they were a month before you were due.
Yeah.
So
then
you need to start checking.
Yeah. So while I was in the waiting room, I texted Daddy and I said, are there any questions you have for the doctor? And you said just some normal stuff, right? Some routine stuff. And then I had my blood pressure taken before I went in to see the doctor. And the woman taking the blood pressure paused and she's like, let me try that again. And she took it again. And I was like, oh, I've been rushing around doing all kinds of errands. I got into the examination room and the doctor said, I've got news for you. You need to go to the hospital because your blood pressure is high and we need to monitor it. And I was shocked. I said, oh, my blood pressure is probably just high because we'd had this big parent open house that day and I'm stressed out from work. Yeah. She said, no, it's really high. She said, either you're going to go to the hospital and they're going to let you go home, but you need to stop working after tomorrow. Or they're going to say you need to have the baby right now. And I was like, what? Or they're going to keep you there until it's time to have the baby. There were 3 options she told me. Remember, she made a flow chart and everything.
She made a flow chart, and I'm confused because I don't do math.
And I was very, very scared and surprised.
So was Daddy.
But I went to the hospital and I figured it had to be nothing. So I never had high blood pressure before. And so we went to the hospital and Daddy met me there, right? First I texted you.
First you texted me, then I called you, and then
because the text said I'm going to the hospital.
Yes, and then I was nervous breakdown. I went home and took care of Harley and Tasker, made arrangements with Tony and Sarah, and then I shot over there. Yeah,
so Daddy came over to the hospital too, and we went in a triage room.
Hey, I'm fat. Why are you pulling down my shirt? It's a beer gun.
We went into a triage room, and they took my blood pressure, and I was like, this is silly. I'd heard that biofeedback could lower your blood pressure. So I even downloaded a meditation and was thinking about all these positive, relaxing thoughts to lower my blood pressure, but they kept taking it every 5 minutes on a machine.
Yeah, and Daddy doesn't believe in meditation.
And I don't really either, but I thought this can't be happening. And every 5 minutes, my blood pressure was still really high. And so they told us that we had to be admitted, meaning we had to stay in the hospital. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember it.
We'd ordered Thai food.
It was delicious.
It was delicious. So
I was also watching Thursday Night Football.
And we're eating the Thai food in the triage room, and then they brought
the Chargers and Rams.
And they brought a wheelchair.
Double check.
And they took us to a hospital room in the wheelchair in the antepartum wing.
Which means ante means before, just like antebellum.
Yeah. So, and I'm burping you right now.
And I'm checking who was playing that night.
So they took us to a room. And then what happened, babe? You got there. You were at the triage room.
I was with you the whole time.
You were with me the whole time. And then what happened when we got to the hospital room? We had to make a bed for you. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
There was this fold-out chair.
Yeah.
And we made up the bed for you. And they kept taking my blood pressure. And they said I had to do a test to see if if I was getting more sick. Because if I was getting more sick, we needed to deliver you. So we did a 24-hour test. And so we stayed there 2 nights, right?
Yep, we were there Thursday night. And I'm just checking who was playing that night, and I remember watching the game. So just so you know for your own records, it was the Vikings and Rams. Sorry, I was close. It wasn't the Chargers and Rams.
Yeah. So this was Thursday, September 27th, 2018. So as you know, a couple days before your birthday.
Mazel
tov. So we stayed overnight, and we did.
Yeah, you also had to make arrangements with work.
Oh yes.
Big time.
So you took that Friday off of work, right? Because you were really worried about both Mommy and Joshua.
Yes, I was not going to go into work that next day.
Yeah. So you stayed in the hospital, right, with me the whole time.
The whole time.
But you went home to take care of a few things too.
Well, I don't think I left the hospital that Friday. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, Friday.
Friday I ran over to work for you.
Oh yeah, you ran over to work to get some work for me because I thought I might be in the hospital for a week or two waiting for you.
Friday I also took care of the dogs.
Yeah.
And bought some beer.
And I think you started installing the car seat.
Oh, I started working on stuff around the house.
And working on stuff around the house to get ready for you.
Daddy does that.
Daddy was amazing. So then...
Mommy doesn't say he is. But Mommy thinks Daddy's fat gut sticks out and doesn't take things seriously.
So Mommy and Daddy have started this video over a few times because Mommy wanted to make it really perfect for you, Joshua.
Daddy has the mouth of a truck driver.
But
you'll probably repeat everything I say.
Daddy's being great.
You can see Daddy's
and we don't want to start it over again, right?
No, you can see Daddy's bald spot. Part of that's Mommy's fault. You have more hair than your daddy.
You want to start over again?
No, keep going.
Okay. Did we already say the date?
I said September 27th because I looked at the
what date it is right now.
Yes, we said what date it was.
We said, did we say in this version?
Yes, in this version
it's New Year's Eve.
It's New Year's Eve 2018 going into 2019.
Yeah.
2018 was midterm elections too.
Yeah. Okay, so we got the results of the test, and the doctor said...
You're not leaving without a baby in your arms.
Yes. And so I think we still waited, and we were going to wait to see how bad the blood pressure still was, because the test was a urine test to see if the kidneys were leaking. Got scared about you too. Got scared about you and Mommy. He got really scared about you and Mommy. Yeah. Because you and Mommy mean the world to me. Yes.
You and Mommy mean the world.
Yeah.
And Harley and Tasker do too.
Yes.
But you and Mommy mean the world.
Yeah.
You and Mommy mean the world to me.
So do you remember they took my blood pressure again, and then they called the doctors in?
I don't remember how much of that stuff.
And they said, because you were out taking care of the things on that
Saturday. Saturday's when I got my Tdap and my flu shot.
You got your
and I was taking care of stuff, and I was trying to get the crib put together. I was trying to
and you're installing the car seat in both cars.
Was I doing it that? No, I was making arrangements. I didn't end up getting the car seat installed until right before we were getting ready to leave the hospital. I was trying to look stuff up like that.
Yeah.
So we were ready.
So while Daddy was doing these things, they took Mommy's blood pressure and they said,
you're getting induced tonight.
Yeah.
And you texted me and you said, come now.
Yeah.
And I had to make arrangements with Tony and Sarah, and I stopped at the beer store on the way over to make sure I had nourishment for being in the delivery room with Mommy.
Yeah.
And I flipped my stuff.
Yes, dude, Daddy was like, whoa, oh my gosh, and Mommy. And I was very scared, actually, Joshua, because it was still supposed to be another month before you came. It was still supposed to be another month.
Daddy panicked.
Mommy panicked. And so they brought me in a wheelchair up to a new room. And when we got there, I said, this looks like a labor and delivery suite. Yep. Why are we here? Yeah. So I don't think they had fully told me we were going to induce yet. And they were like, we're inducing tonight. And I remember... There was this beautiful view from the room. Do you remember the view?
It was beautiful. You could see all of downtown.
See all of downtown, the skyline. And there was a bathroom that had a view, which is kind of funny.
Which was awesome.
It was awesome.
I took full advantage of it.
So I remember going into this bathroom with a view for the last time before you got induced and just shaking and being so afraid. And I think I even posted on Facebook, like,
you posted on Facebook because I got a bunch of messages I didn't know were coming.
Because I said, all right, we're having the baby. Okay.
You little man.
Yeah. So they started giving me magnesium.
Wrecked you.
And I got really hot just for a few minutes.
Mommy's smoking it.
And then they hooked me up to Pitocin, right?
I don't remember all the drugs, but Pitocin was one of them.
So there was like some small contractions, and it was nighttime at this point. It was Saturday night.
Saturday night, Sunday morning. Daddy ordered you food, Zaptigs. Yep. Delivered. It was drinking beer in the delivery room.
And we tried to watch American Vandal, but we just couldn't even pay attention to it. And we had candles. We had like fake candles in the room for atmosphere, and we had our music, and we just all through the night kind of just snoozed, right? We slept a little bit here and there.
Somewhat.
And then when we got up in the morning, the doctor came in and said, we're going to try a Foley balloon. And I was like, ooh, I've heard bad things about this. I don't know. But he said, no, I think it's the best thing. And it worked.
There was also the prick of an anesthesiologist.
Yeah, that's coming later.
No, that was earlier. That was
the anesthesiologist had come in to check in with us.
Night,
that's right. And we didn't like him, Joshua. We didn't like that guy. We liked all the nurses. We liked everybody else. So we didn't like the anesthesiologist. And so, okay, so where were we?
If you have the attention span of your daddy, you're not going to be able to sit through this whole thing.
That's all right, but you'll always have it so you know your birth story. Okay, so we were kind of snoozing here and there. We woke up in the morning, we got the Foley balloon, and the doctor said, okay, so we had to get to what was called 10 centimeters. And we were at 4 centimeters after the Foley balloon.
Initially, you were trying to get to 8.
Yeah, we wanted to wait so that before we got the epidural.
Epidural's a shot.
Yeah, it's a shot that kills all the pain. And so Mommy and Daddy were in the room, and Daddy was supporting me. He was amazing.
I try.
You were helping me by like standing behind me, and you were holding my waist, and you were supporting me. I was leaning against the baby warmer. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think so.
And we were getting through the contractions, and there was this graph that was showing them going up and down. And then this nurse came in, and she said,
"You can't leave the bed.
You can't leave the bed." And we're like, "What? No, we had taken a class that taught us that if you stay standing, it's better."
Joshua, Daddy loves taking classes on birth.
And so we So we said, no, we're going to stand. And pretty soon we got a nicer nurse. She came in, and her name was Jocelyn.
Yeah, little man.
And Jocelyn kind of reminds me of your aunt, Nikki. And she was really nice, and she helped us throughout the day and all throughout that Sunday. And this room with a view of really Boston. Nice. The sun came up. It was sunny. We were going through the contractions. The sun started to set. We were going through the contractions. And there was one doctor who was going off of her shift, and I said, "Can you?" Because they said we don't want to give you the epidural, or we don't want to check you until you have the epidural.
Yep.
And I said, "Can you just check and see how far along we are?"
I think 10 centimeters.
It was 9 centimeters.
Okay, I thought it was 10, but you were happy.
Or was it 10?
Yeah, somewhere around either 9 or 10. And you were hoping to get to 7.
And I was so happy because that was past my goal. And I had gone through these contractions, and Joshua, it wasn't that bad.
And Daddy
coached and coached me the whole time.
Just like he's coaching you to do your tummy time.
Yeah. And we were on the ball, and you were sitting supporting me. I only caught you checking the football scores once.
Yep. Even though it was more than once.
Here, come closer.
Even though it was more than once, the Bills were getting the crap kicked out of them by the Packers anyway. Yeah. So that's all that matters.
Yeah,
and you didn't have to see that first Bills game.
Yeah. And so Daddy was supporting me we were on the bouncy ball, and you were holding my back, and we were getting through the contractions together all day.
Mom got pissed at me for checking NFL Sunday tickets.
Just once though. Daddy was an amazing coach. He was awesome.
There's bathroom strategies, Joshua, when you have kids. When you're ready, when your wife's in labor, just go to the bathroom a bunch, and that's how you check football scores.
But Daddy was amazing. It was awesome. He was such an amazing birth coach. He really came through. It was awesome. Found
out that Mommy got the epidural, and Daddy went and got Mommy some really good wine. And some chocolate and really good beer.
Because as soon as I found out we were at 9 centimeters, meaning you were almost ready to come, I said, okay, bring in the epidural. And they came in and they gave it, and Daddy had to leave the room. And that's when you did that.
That's when I did that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see that.
And then the epidural kicked in, and I didn't feel any pain at all. And they said, just rest and let us know when you have the urge to push.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, we're going to rest. And in the meantime, my parents were coming in on the train from New York City. Because they wanted to be there for your birth. Your grandparents.
Your grandparents.
And they came in to see us, and we just had the lights off, resting for what, like an hour, hour and a half?
More than that.
More than that, because I was like, all right, cool, we'll just rest. I wasn't feeling any pain. And then I guess they were waiting for me to say, okay, I'm ready. But I was like, no, I'll just rest. Yep. It's all good.
They basically said rest now because after this, you're not getting sleep for long.
Yeah.
They were right.
So then they said it was time, and Dr. Kavanaugh came in. And she was very serious.
Well, she is serious. She was there with you two
Yeah.
nights earlier.
She had been there 2 nights earlier. And we she was one of the ones who told us straight, like, you're probably not living here without a baby. And we were like, I don't like that woman. But she was the one who delivered you. So she came in, and she put on her gloves, and she was standing there, and she had baby oil.
Massage your head with olive oil.
Yes. And she was saying, and Daddy had one leg, and then our other nurse,
had another leg.
Adrian, had the other leg, and they were instructing Mommy to push. And it went on and on. And every time for 4 hours, they said, okay, push, go, keep going. And Mommy was pushing. I didn't feel any pain, but it was very athletic. And I visualized like I was running sprints or something. And each time it wasn't enough. And I said to Dr. Kevin, are we making any progress? And you remember what she said?
Yes, I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be standing here if you weren't making progress.
And they brought all these crazy tools in.
Yep. And then, so this went on for 4 hours, right?
Yep.
And Daddy was calling, push, go. Right?
Like, when the hell is this going to end?
And then finally, after about 4.5 hours,
I saw a little bit of your head first.
Yep, we saw your head. I saw the black of your hair. They brought me a mirror, and I liked the black of your hair, but I didn't like the way I looked, so I said, take that mirror away. But I could see your head. I could see like the top of your head and your hair. And so we kept on going, and finally there was one last push.
And out you came.
And what was it like?
Yeah, it was like that. Surreal.
It was absolutely surreal, right? You were so little. And
an ugly cone head.
You had a cone head. Mommy wanted to make sure you were okay, so I said, don't you need to take the baby to the NICU and make sure, because you were so early and small.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, don't, but they said, no, you can keep the baby. And so they laid you on my chest for a long time, and I could hear you crying, but I couldn't see you because you were right here, and I couldn't get my eyes down there. I couldn't see your face. Yeah. But I could hear you crying, and it sounded like a small cry, like a very little cry. You remember that? Yeah. Not like this. This is a big cry.
Big cry.
Oh, you need a new bottle. You need a new bottle, don't you? So Daddy's going to describe that while I get you a new bottle. Hold on.
Daddy's emotional right now.
Oh.
Daddy's emotional. I was thinking about...
Oh. Yeah. What were you thinking about?
I don't...
Oh. Oh.
Thinking about how the Bills lost that day.
Right. No, Daddy really is getting emotional right now.
It was sad. I was hoping that they were going to beat Aaron Rodgers so badly.
No. No, that's not all. Daddy was getting emotional because you were coming. There you were, right?
Yep.
And then, so Mommy did skin-to-skin time with you for a while, but then we said Daddy should do skin-to-skin time with you. And I'm getting you a bottle right now. And they said, really? And we said, no, yes, we insisted. And so we actually have a video of Daddy doing skin-to-skin time with you in the delivery room. And you'll see that video too.
At some point.
Yeah. Yep. And then they were stitching Mommy back up.
Which is a good thing that I didn't want to see because I saw stuff that I never thought I would see before.
Daddy saw some pretty crazy stuff. Mommy, I didn't see any of that stuff.
Mommy's lucky.
And they were stitching you back up, and I was very tired. You were very tired, and it was a very uncomfortable bed for you.
Yeah.
And actually, that first night it was an uncomfortable bed for me. It felt like a stretcher. It was really hard. And they took you off to the NICU for one night of observation.
In front of Grandma.
Oh, yeah. What was that like?
I said, you want to see your grandson?
Oh, I love you. Oh. Oh. I love you so much.
Love you so much too.
And then what?
And then what? We went to bed for... We went to bed for 5 hours, and the next morning we went down. So I started crying.
Yeah, you remember that?
Hysterical.
So they took me down in a wheelchair. They took you to see you, and then you did skin-to-skin time with you.
With a little aunt.
Daddy did skin-to-skin time with you down in the NICU.
And we went back to the postpartum room, and then I couldn't sleep, so I went and spent time with you.
Yeah, and then I slept, and Daddy came back and spent a whole bunch of time with you. It was really sweet. So I was recovering because I had to still be on the magnesium, which made me really... It was hard to lift my hands. I wanted to put my hair in a ponytail, and I couldn't even lift my arms. It was hard to adjust my bed, even though the control was right next to me. It was hard. It was hard to text on my phone. But Daddy went down and spent time with you. Yeah. How much time were you down there for?
More than an hour.
Yeah. It was really nice. And when he came back, he had learned some things. Like, he told me not to rub your back because it would stimulate you, just to hold you. I remember, and I said, oh, wow, thanks for teaching me that. Remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
And then what happened?
Then what? We went to sleep. I don't know.
Yeah, so we're napping on and off, and then you came back.
You came back that night.
And we're like, whoa, what do we do?
What do we do?
So the nurses taught us how to feed you.
How to change a diaper.
Yep, Mommy didn't know how to change a diaper, really.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So the nurses taught us how to change your diaper. They taught us, what else did they teach us?
How to feed you.
How to hold you. How to hold you. How to burp you. Later they taught us how to give you a sponge bath.
Yep, which you got last night.
Yeah, so we were giving you baths ever since. And, you would sleep for a few hours, then you'd wake up, and Mommy's milk hadn't come in yet, so we're giving you some formula from a little bottle. And Mommy was pumping to try to get the milk to come in.
Actually, Grandpa came over.
They came over. Uncle Bob came to visit, and Joyce.
And I went and got the car seats installed. We were making arrangements to work.
Yep.
Eventually, we slept a little bit.
Yep.
You got circumcised.
Yeah, the doctor came in. He took you away to circumcise you. We figured that would be much better because you wouldn't remember it. Are you glad we did that then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you are. But we were kind of nervous about it.
Yep. So we didn't want to see it.
Yeah. So that happened, and we spent another 2 nights.
And we went home Wednesday, October 3rd.
Yep.
We brought you home.
We brought you home, and I'll never forget when we left and we had you in the car. And
we were all ready to go.
This is the first time I'd been out in the open air in 10 days, and
yeah.
we had you. And it was just kind of
surreal.
And when we drove up the street, do you remember we ran into Pedro?
Oh, yeah.
And he was the first one to see you. We rolled down the window. We said, "That's our son."
Yep.
And then
Tony and
Sarah, you were in the back driveway showing Joshua to Tony and Sarah.
Come see ours.
Yeah. And we got home and we introduced you to Harley and Tasker by giving them lots and lots of bread, just like sitting. There's a picture of that. I'm sure you'll see.
Harley didn't care. Tasker loves you.
Tasker is always very curious about you.
Tasker
very curious.
Tasker loves you so much.
Yeah, and we had to rearrange the apartment because my parents were here and we didn't know you were coming yet, and we had stuff all over the place, and we didn't have your room ready, and we had to bring a bunch of stuff down to the basement to make room. You remember that?
Oh yeah, we're still making room.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. And we love you.
Here you are.
We love you. Here
we love you so much.
And I don't know if you could see it, but your daddy was, and your mommy too. I was tearing up too, but your daddy was crying a few times in there because he's really sweet and wonderful and loves you so much.
Mommy and Daddy love you.
Yeah.
I love you, little man.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. And we still do. Love you forever.
Die. Here, you can pull Taskers.
All right. We love you, Joshua. That's your birth story.
That's your birth story.